Hi again, it's Robert from allbellspalsy.info. Now, following on in this series of about protecting your eyes, I want us to look at artificial tears. I want us to understand about our own tears and how artificial tears might be the answer to some of the problems that we'll go through. So, as if by the magic of Hollywood, I told you that I would try and get better at doing these videos. Now, this is a picture, obviously, of an eye. Now, as you can see, there are three components of each tear, every single one, that lubricates your eye, and each are in a certain balance with one another. So, we have the outer oily layer, the middle watery layer, and the inner mucus layer. Now, I've labelled everything on here. So the oily layer is produced by the Meibomian glands that you can see there on your picture at the bottom. The watery layer by the Lacrimal gland, which is in your top eyelid, and the mucus layer by the Conjunctiva, as you can see pointed out there on the picture. Now the reason I'm showing you this is, as I've said in other videos, we have a problem not with necessarily producing the tear, but certainly in keeping it in the right place on our eye. And thus we can get either a very dry eye, which has all its own little problems, like it can cause pain or at the very least be extremely irritating. But we can also have a very watery eye, where the tears are being produced, but where the tears are all collecting together in our drooping bottom eyelid. And again, not painful, just extremely annoying, and can give us blurred vision when we're trying to stare through these tears as they keep filling up. Now, the purpose of artificial tears is that they contain all those components that I've just mentioned there that make up your tear every single time you blink. And also the artificial tears contain them in the correct balance, which is essential. So they lubricate the eye in the place of your tears. Now they're available, certainly in England, and I'm sure everywhere, they should be available without prescription. Your optician or your pharmacist will be able to tell you which they recommend. There's no point in me going into different brands here, because the video won't just be watched in England, and I can't recommend a particular brand because I don't know what brands are in your country. I would suggest that you ask or look for a brand that claims that it's for sensitive eyes, or that it's preservative free, or it might say on it non-allergic or hypoallergenic. However, even using these, if you do find that your eye becomes more sensitive or feels like it's stinging or perhaps burning whilst you're using the artificial tears, then stop using them and go and see your optician or your pharmacist, and they'll recommend to you another brand. They'll understand why you need them and how essential it is to protect your eye with something like this, but they'll be able to recommend another brand that won't have whatever the offending ingredient is to which you might be sensitive. Now, the thickness of the artificial tears is important too. They range from a very thin solution right through to quite a thick, what I'd call a gel. Now this is especially useful for protecting your eye while sleeping, but I'm going to do a separate video on that because there's various things that you can do to protect your eye whilst you're asleep. The thickness of the tears will determine how often you have to apply them to your eye. So that's the benefit of having a thicker gel at night, because it means that you don't have to keep on applying it. It should stay where you place it. But as I say, there's ways of helping that too. I'll explain that in the other video. And don't worry even about the thin ones, which are more suitable for daytime. You won't be having to apply it every few seconds or anything, like your normal automatic eyelid would produce tears every 5 to 7 seconds. You don't need it as often as that. But every couple of hours will probably be fine, although often more is a bit better. Okay, I'll just end this short video saying that obviously always read and follow the manufacturer's instructions or the advice of your optician or your doctor. I hope that's been of help. Please go to the site, tons of free information on there. please buy the Bell's Palsy Guide. That just helps us to keep going and to keep producing videos like this. As always, I wish you a speedy and complete recovery. And until then, take care.